Hi! This video is a little bit of an addendum to my wool farm video, but I guess it also applies to the flower farm video. The problem I'm trying to solve here is to figure out how grass spreads and specifically how to make it spread fast and efficiently. Because I haven't been able to find any good information about that. The wiki has some vague statements but no actual numbers. And I do believe that the wiki is also slightly inaccurate, and I really haven't been able to find anyone else do this research. So, since there was no research that I could find about how grass spreads, I decided to do my own. And the experimental setup here is we have a block of dirt. I already did testing to see that the source blocks have to be lit up. It doesn't seem that the destination block needs to be lit up, but I didn't test how that affects the rates, so I'm lighting it up anyway because that's no big deal. But the source blocks definitely have to be lit up. And what we have here is an observer looking at that grass block, and the observer powers two command blocks. This one replaces the block with dirt. So it's this block, it gets replaced with dirt as soon as it turns into grass. And the other block, well, it runs this, you might not recognize this, but this is from the carpet mod. It has a scripting language called Scarpet, and I wrote a very simple event counting and timing script. It's ridiculously simple. And if you see anything in the log, oh, like exactly like that, that's the results of this test. I have built models of the test setups for each test I did. And I have a stone block instead of the dirt block because I don't want grass spreading there. But the stone block represents the dirt block. So this is the simplest setup. One dirt block next to one grass block. It gets replenished around 12,000 ticks. T per G means ticks per grass. So that's pretty slow. 12,000 ticks is 10 minutes. One dirt block next to just one grass block takes 10 minutes to spread. Now, with 4 grass blocks around the dirt block, 4,000 ticks. 8 grass blocks, and this would be the sheep farm setup, except we can add other grass blocks, but let's get to that in a minute. 8 grass blocks around the dirt block, 2,000 ticks per grass block, so that's an improvement. Now, 24 grass blocks around the dirt block isn't such a huge improvement over this. I was actually surprised. Only 1,800 ticks per grass. Now, this is the most efficient setup. Dirt block here, 24 grass blocks around it, and 25 grass blocks above it, just one block gap. That's 800 ticks per grass. Moving the ceiling of grass blocks just one block up lowers the efficiency somewhat to 1,000 ticks per grass block. It doesn't seem that grass from below spreads, but as you can see, I have added stone blocks here to indicate how the testing setup was, because I didn't want to change the testing setup too much to affect how this whole thing works. But the grass blocks below don't seem to have done anything. I will probably do another test just to verify this. Now I also tried some little bit weirder configurations. This didn't do anything. This is exactly the same as the 24 grass blocks around one dirt block. So adding this ring did nothing, and I didn't really expect it to do anything. Now, with this whole theory about grass spreading downwards faster than upwards, doesn't seem so. 1,800 ticks per grass here as well, so that didn't do anything. What about moving it even higher? nothing. It's just the number of grass blocks in range that seem to matter. Except in this case. But I'll get to this in a minute. And here I also tested to see if grass blocks, if they have other targets nearby, if that might somehow affect the rates, and no, it didn't. It's still 1800. Now, we need to take these numbers with a pinch of salt. They are not very accurate. I only ran each test for 2 hours, and that's with tick warping in the carpet mod. So there might be some inaccuracies, and the process is very random, and we're not getting that many events in 2 hours. To get perfect results, you would probably have to run the test for at least 20 hours, maybe even 100 hours each, but I didn't have the time or patience to do it. This is just to verify more or less what happens. And especially here, I'm a little bit iffy. I'm not exactly sure if I was very lucky here or very unlucky here, because the numbers were going up and down all the time, especially during these tests. So this probably requires more testing. But we can't have a sheep farm like this, and we can have a sheep farm like this. So obviously the ceiling above does help. And after recording that previous segment, I really need to double check this result. I don't trust it. It seems wrong. It seems to contradict what the wiki says and everything else says. So I did this setup, and let's just tick warp and see what happens. This is 1 hour. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The result is 0. Nothing. Not a single grass went up to the dirt block. So let's try a different setup. Reset. And let's warp this one. Oh, this one is very eager. This one is really good. Let's see after 2 hours. Well, okay. Okay, 1600s. I will honestly record that, even though I suspect the result was a fluke because of the initial flurry of activity. But let's stay honest here. This is the methodology I decided to follow, and well, that's what we get. That was 1600. So I do believe that what actually matters for grass spread is the number of blocks within range 1 block below, 2 blocks out in any direction, and up to 1 to 3 blocks above. Grass blocks 2 blocks below don't matter, but 3 blocks above do matter. So this makes me very suspicious of this result. I do believe this is just a fluke, and the actual number is probably somewhere in between these two, and these two should behave the same. Let's just verify for completeness that the whole idea about lighting the destination block doesn't matter. This is a dirt block. We close it off so it doesn't have any light. This grass block should spread to it. And let's just get the random tick speed up a lot. This should be enough to get it in a few seconds. And yes, we can see that without light on the dirt block, it still gets the grass. And let's just verify the opposites. Dirt block here. And with the random tick speed at 3000, this should have already spread. But it doesn't seem to do that. If we put it back, put the torch here, put the stone block back, the grass is there. So it should be pretty obvious that the source block needs light, the destination block doesn't. The conclusion from this whole experiment is that the wool farm is correctly set up and I don't need to change anything. I was just editing the video and I realized that there is a strategy for optimal grass spreading. And this is it. This is how to build the optimal grass spreading machine. So this block is the dirt block that we want the grass to spread to. One layer around it below, one layer above, and then one layer free above. And this seems to be 600-ish ticks per grass, which means that we're getting the grass back in about 30 seconds. And just out of curiosity, it seems to work pretty much the same for mycelium, including the requirement for light. I actually set the time to midnight and removed the light sources even from here, and then it didn't spread. But with the light sources, mycelium seems to behave the same as grass. Potentially even a little bit faster, although I've seen it go slower too. Like I said, the imprecision in the measurement is quite huge. I'm out of ideas for what to test, so that should be it for this video. If you have any ideas of other things I should add to my grass testing or any other comments, leave a comment below. But otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!